meeting to order.
Councilmember Tina Holden. Here. Councilmember Paul Davis.
Hey, be quiet.
Councilmember Bruce Kay. Here. Mayor Dan Renaud.
Here.
Councilmember Thomas Hyland. Councilmember Kirk Woodard. Here. Mayor Pro Tem William Bass.
Here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Lord, we're able to gather together to discuss the problems of the community, give us guidance to make good decisions, and help us to behave in a fashion that is fitting for the occasion. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. The next item is a hearing of visitors, and each visitor can speak for 5 minutes. You have to be signed up in the back, and when you come up to speak, the first thing you got to do is announce what your address is, and it's not a debate, so when you speak for 5 minutes, at the end of that 5 minutes, you're done. You don't get a second chance, okay? Okay, bring it here, okay? I'm trying to keep them in order, but I might not have them. Okay. All right. Michelle Ladner, you're the first one in. Get to speak.
Michelle.
He's outside. Can you go with somebody next?
Oh, I can call somebody else. Okay.
That's all right.
Krista Drummery.
Hi, my name's Krista Rummery. I'm a little shocked to be here. Mostly shocked about what's happened. And it's really sad to me because not only what's happened in the past, but going forward. How are we going to move forward? Because this isn't something that, oh, I'm sorry, 700 Hartman. So anyway, this isn't something that happened overnight. This has been going on for a while. I read somewhere that they said that the euthanasia dogs were put up somewhere in the police department. Is the animal control part of the police department? Isn't it a division of it?
No.
So okay, so they don't have access, is that what you're saying? Did nobody notice whenever nobody repurchased these things, that there was just a never-ending supply? Did they not wonder where all of these animals were going? And what's heartbreaking is there have been so many programs and so many organizations who will come forward. They will help your city. They will give you programs. They'll give you, they'll come and train you for that matter. And grants, there are things available. So it's not a matter of even money. It's just cruel and completely inhumane. How can you not know that this is going on? I mean, you are the mayor. You're responsible ultimately. Allowing this to continue, pretending to say, well, I don't know, I'm not aware, or allowing it to, if he doesn't speak about it, that you're just gonna let it go and not charge him for each and every individual dog that was killed. This is improper euthanasia, this is animal cruelty. And last I checked, shooting a dog in Texas was a felony. I don't have anything else to say to you.
Thank you.
I'm Michelle Ladner. I'm here.
Okay, come to the speak. And you may not have been here whenever you need to give your address before you start.
My physical address?
Where you live, yes.
Like just the city.
We need the street and the city.
So you want me to announce my address?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 125 Dawn Drive, Silsbee,
Okay.
77656.
Okay.
I'm Michelle Ladner. I'm Angels to the Rescue. I'm the one that found the dogs at our animal shelter. This dog was killed and thrown in our creek in the woods, and you sit up here and you say that you don't know what's going on in your city? This has been going on for 2 weeks, it's been on the news, and you're gonna give me the excuse you don't know? And then you're gonna sit here and let Deanne Zimmerman investigate, and she's the cousin of Josh Nolan? That is a dog that I pulled out of the creek myself. These dogs were shot in the head because our city council won't provide the necessary drugs to properly euthanize them and dispose them. You want to throw it all on Josh Nolan? It's not just Josh Nolan.
That's all of them.
It is not Josh Nolan. I came to you personally December 10th, and I offered you my help. I said I would volunteer, I would clean, I would mow, I would do anything that you needed me to do to help that shelter. You never reached back out to me. I told you we could work together, or I could be your enemy. Get your head out your butt and do your damn job.
Ma'am, you need to watch how you're talking up there.
And you need to do your job and stop letting this corruption going on in your city.
Yeah.
There's no evidence. There was 26 dogs out there. There were 7 dogs that I counted, that I dealt with. Y'all brushed it out. Y'all were brushing it underneath the rug like nothing has happened, and then you're going to slap him on the wrist with a misdemeanor? Are you freaking kidding me? A misdemeanor. Every one of y'all need to think about what y'all are doing and not supporting this community and find a resolution to our problem of the dogs being overpopulated over here. We have animal cruelty and animal neglect. Do you write a fine? Does your sheriff or your cops write a fine in this city to animals that are being neglected and abused? Not one ticket. I have been out on many calls with some of these people. Many calls for Josh Nolan to help him out of my time, out of my money, because y'all won't do your damn jobs up here. I will properly bury this dog so that he can have it. And at not one point, I've made this known in the past 2 weeks that I've had this dog. Not one person in authority has asked me for this dog.
They don't care.
They don't care. They don't care what you think.
Don't give them the dog.
Don't give them the dog.
Hey, okay, thank you for coming.
What you have on good about it?
Lene Newton.
Last name is,
Do what? Hey,
last name is Minton,
Okay. Thank you.
8414 Gregory Drive, Silsbee, Texas. Mayor, you're an elected official. You need to lose your job and you all need to be replaced. This is unacceptable behavior. Do any of you all own animals?
I had 2. They're part of my family. So trust me, this is outrageous.
Okay, then you all should have known what was going on in your own city. You should have known. So don't look at me like you're surprised that we're up here and we're all livid. We're mad. It's unacceptable. It's cruelty.
We don't disagree.
Hey, don't say nothing.
That's all I have to say.
Okay,
You're
thank you.
elected. You need to lose your job.
Yeah.
You keep it. Just say, don't say nothing.
I mean, but they can't. I mean, they have to be called out. I'll be glad.
I'll tell you, I've been mayor for 3 years in this city, And this incident's the first complaint about dogs that has been addressed to me.
That's not true. We've all complained.
That's honest God truth.
We've all
I've had
complained.
a lot of complaints about cats, I've had 3 complaints about horses,
This isn't about the
none
people
about
that's
dogs.
complaining about your
Okay.
employees.
Answer me.
Terry Romero,
Answer me a simple question.
you've already spoke, sit down.
You number 2 weeks. You go. For what you've done, Roger, is not on Josh. You do not deserve that position.
That's public meeting, you ain't gotta leave.
We didn't do it, we didn't cause it.
I understand, but we don't.
Terry Romero.
My address is 4515 Fresh Circle. Yeah, CREST Circle. We're outside of the city limit. We moved here 2 years ago from Houston. We bought a house. And in that 2 years, we have accumulated 12 dogs, or 12. I initially reached out to Josh and was asking him, like, can I get some help? You know, we moved here with 3, and people just keep coming out there and dumping, and it's just a vicious cycle. And he pretty much told me that his hands are tied, that I had 2 options. Either he goes, most people out there just shoot them, or bring it into the city limits, right where the city, and he mentioned, I guess a lot of people dump dogs at the bridge, and to drop them off there, but not to get caught. I know that, you know, the whole thing with the animal shelter, I feel like y'all closing it down is gonna be a domino effect for us that live outside of the city limits. It's a huge problem out there with people dumping dogs. We took in 2 puppies, the girl ran over it, she's like, oh, he doesn't do nothing. You know, his leg was completely broken half. And it's just, you know, it's only been 2 years and we've accumulated 12. We've had them all spayed, we've had them all neutered. This comes out of my pocket. We paid for their vaccinations, for their food. And I feel like getting rid of the animal shelter here is like the worst thing that can happen. I think that y'all need to get together, and my husband used to write grants, and there are so many grants out there for this issue that y'all are having here. I also feel that Josh is not the only one to blame here, and I really feel that his hands were tied, and he told me several times that his hands were tied and that there was nothing that he could do. And having a budget for $500 for dog food for a year, I mean, we spend $300 every 2 weeks to feed all of these strays that we've taken in. And I feel like the city needs to, there's so much help. We came from Houston, there's so many programs. You know, I get it, like the demographics out there, it's more lower income, but there's low income programs to get them spayed and neutered. You know, I know that they said that, or Josh on his statement said that most of the dogs that were shot were aggressive. But it's just, I think the city of Silsbee needs to really look into getting a grant to build a bigger facility, because it's out of, I've never seen it this bad anywhere. And we come from Houston, and it's pretty bad in Houston. But one thing about Houston and here is that they take care of those animals. They don't shoot them, they euthanize them properly. And that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Susan Lynn.
Susan Lynn.
Well, so many points have already been brought up, but I was gonna speak on it. You need my address?
We need your address where you live.
I live at 8048 FM 1122, outside of the city limits.
Okay, go ahead and speak up.
Okay. Well, first, I wanted to bring up the grants issue and another, why are we not? If you guys are too small for just Silsbee, or just Coons, or just Jasper, or not Jasper, but, Lumberton, why don't we band together as one great big huge Hardin County shelter so that you have employees that will watch each other, make sure everybody's doing their jobs? Because the thing that gets me about this, the whole thing, is the intake, the lack of intake, the lack of knowing where they went, the outtake. There's like no supervision. I don't think I've ever met somebody in my life that was able to go to a job and literally no one ever cared what he was doing at that job. From what they say of how it looks on the inside, not clean, and we all know because I've taken pictures since it's gotten caught, and you guys are out there cleaning it like crazy now. Broken beds, everything. So that was my one point I don't understand. If you can't do it alone, we all know that you can band together and get it done. If you want an example, my daughter-in-law, she's from North Carolina, Avery County, and they literally got donations. They opened up a shelter. People don't even have an animal catcher. People in the community bring the animals to them, and then they help find homes. They all work together. So, the other thing is, so you have a shelter and it's out in Timbuktu in the woods. There's no Silsbee shelter like where by Parker's, so that people are driving in and out of town, Silsbee shelter this way. Or even when you get in the neighborhood, the small little, what's the name of that tree? Woodville? There's no even there. You don't even see a sign saying that there's a shelter there until you actually can visibly see the shelter there. I've gone by so many times to try to catch Josh there to see if I can volunteer so I can see inside. Once I realized that he was no longer posting the dogs on social media, I'm like, where are these dogs going? Well, I was told and I trusted that he said that they were working with rescues, but they can only do so much. They can't take all the dogs, so then where did the overflow go? You know, there's no answer for any of these, where the dogs went, what rescues they went to, because why? Because he says he didn't have a laptop. You know, we do have paper and pencil still in this country, so that could have been. Where is the oversight for any of that? Did y'all not want to know what he was doing up there, or care what he was doing in the woods? I just moved here in 2024, and I haven't had a problem for the first 6 months of 3 big dogs running back and forth behind. I've got video of it. And I have a 4-year-old grandbaby. Well, different, now she's 4, but when we first moved in, she was 3. That I had to worry about these dogs eating it. And I have a fenced-in yard. The rest of it's fenced in, but they can climb over, do whatever. And I was just always told that it didn't matter. So why do we not have a leash law? People do not have a right just to open their front door and say, okay, go do whatever you want for 3 hours. Go, you know, find some heat girls and make some puppies and make some people take care of them. It doesn't make any sense to me. Just because you live in the county, it shouldn't be that way.
You might need to address that with the county commissioners, because I think they're on the same page. But, go ahead, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. And then the volunteers, why is there not like a web page or something showing when volunteers can come out at a certain hour of the day? If he had to go on a call, then someone could have been there helping them clean it up. And why you don't have a web page for the actual Silsbee shelter, like any other entity that you guys have? Why is there not one that shows the dogs and what's happening to them? And did he or did he not have a scanner to scan for the chips? So if he was no longer posting on social media asking, hey, is this your dog? How was he to know that the dogs that he was giving away or killing was actually somebody's pet that they're looking for?
this is up for debate. Was Silsbee Shelter a kill or no-kill shelter? Was it supposed to be a no-kill shelter? Or was it a kill shelter the whole time?
They're not allowed to answer you,
Why not?
because it's not on the agenda. They're not allowed to, this is a hearing of the visitors, they're not allowed to answer you in this part of the.
Well, I just answered.
Mayor, should
Okay, well,
You just answered.
so all we want is if you guys can't answer us, then you can't answer us. You can't.
They'll be discussing this, it's actually on the agenda on the meeting.
Selective answering now?
The policies for the shelter are on the agenda for the meeting on the 16th.
On the 16th.
Turn the mic up.
The same.
Facebook and the internet made it about tonight.
Okay.
It's going to be addressed.
Urgency.
Very important.
Okay. So you're saying the 16th of this month, it's on Monday, it's gonna be addressed.
The policies for the shelter are on the agenda for the meeting on the 16th, yes.
And has anybody, and this is on record, that they said that there is only hot water out there, there is no
Again,
cold
they're not
water?
allowed to answer the question.
I'm just, it's a statement, I'm just telling you. Okay, and the other thing is there, so y'all can address it, is the fact of the euthanasia medicine. Somebody said that they did not have record of Silsbee County having any euthanasia medicine, period whatsoever. And then somebody else says that they did have it and it was sent to the city hall. So that needs to be rectified. Did we have euthanasia medicine here or did we not? I think that covered all my points.
Now they're quiet.
Because that's a big, that goes into a kill or no kill. So if you've got the you want him to go to have a license to do it, he said he wasn't doing it, but yet we found out that he's shooting them. Wouldn't it have been easier if he was just using the right protocol? Which, like vets' offices, they do sprays and neuters 1 day a week or 2 days a week. You could have 1 day a week that someone comes out and does it, humanely, and not being shot in the head. If you want to have a kill shelter.
Sherry Renee Anthony.
Yes, sir. My name is Sherry Renee Anthony, and I reside at 3801 Pine Tree Lane, Silsbee, Texas. I work along with all the rescues, and we're trying to get laws better for these animals, to be their voices. I run a page that's called Laws for Falls, Let's Be Their Voices. When Josh was first hired on, we met him, my husband and I, we met him. We told him, hey, you bring dogs in, you pick up, let us know when you got one. So we can come by. I had another rescue lady, so we come by and take pictures. We go ahead and try to get them out there on the page that we were running, all by volunteers. We also try to get them back to the owners if they're lost, or also if you hold them for the 72 hours, then we could get them adopted out. I was also told it was a no-kill shelter. Josh himself told me he was not going to get his license to euthanize. He was against it. So this was all a big shock to me of what has come forth about what Josh has done to these poor animals and these people that are lovable. They don't know where their animals are. I mean, if you're an animal lover, y'all should have compassion of how these animals should be taken. They are God's creatures. We have to help them. I know we are in a bad situation with the overpopulation. We need to work with y'all and get low cost spay and neuter programs. We need a bigger shelter so we can house this. We don't need to be a third world country where we're overran by animals. We've already got advocates taking care of the cat colonies. We're trying to take care of these animals, these dogs. We have to be their voices. So I don't know what to say now. When I spoke to Josh before, when he put on there that he needed dog food for all these dogs. Our community came forth and gave him a lot of dog food. He goes, oh, I don't need no more right now. Then he tells me in another advocate that the city came down on him for asking for help. Y'all should be thankful that our community wants to help. It helps y'all in a way, and I don't know all the budgets, but it does help y'all in the long run with the city. But it's also, we've taken in, right now my husband and I, we have 13 dogs we're taking care of. 7 of our own that were rescues. We fell in love. That's when I met Josh, when I came and got one of ours out of the shelter, and he was going to be going, the guy that was mistreating him was going to court, so we held on to him. We ended up adopting him. He's the best dog ever. We've got other dogs we've taken in out of our own pocket. And we bottle, my husband and I, we're in our 50s, almost 60, and we are bottle feeding these babies every 2 hours. And we're just, I mean, you can look at my arms, what I've been through with these dogs, scratches, and it's putting a damper on my health. But we've got to come together and help. I mean, we've got 6 more that's left that we've been fostering with, bottle feeding and all. They're old enough now. 4 are leaving to go to Canada Tuesday. This is all out of our pockets. All these people here, they volunteer. We don't get paid for anything. Y'all do. Y'all get paid, but y'all ain't doing nothing. I mean, y'all run in the city. I mean, you should be proud of your city and want to take care of it. Correct? I don't want dead dogs in the waterway or in a ditch on the side of the road. Because we've told Josh, hey, there's one on the side of the road, come pick it up. Now, when it's in the county, I get a hold of the county. Or we post it on Facebook, and the owners are happy that they're sad, but they're happy that they have closure. These other ones that he's put down, people that are still missing animals, they don't have closure. That's pretty much all I need to say, I guess.
Thank you for coming.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I guess. Did everybody that filled out one of these forms get a chance to speak? Okay, well, thank you. And it will be on our agenda. I've already got a copy of it to discuss what to do with
She has
the...
not got to speak. My name hasn't been called. I was the second person handing my name.
What?
My name hasn't been called.
Okay, well, I thought I had one other question.
Okay.
Okay. I think I got it right. Are you Renee?
No, I'm Shelley Whalen. Red pen.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead, yeah.
8204 Sleeper. Yeah, I actually prepared a written statement. This is the 3rd time I've changed it because so many things have changed since I've just in the last few days. That's me. So I'm trying to aim for a balanced perspective and trying to remain positive, but these are some really challenging, hard topics here, and I'm going to try and frame it as not complaints but concerns. I think it's essential that there is community involvement and accountability for animal control. And from what I understand, there's not an established committee to regulate, observe, and monitor Silsbee animal control. So I think it would be essential to propose that an ad hoc committee be implemented immediately as an interim measure until a standing committee can be established. The ad hoc committee could act as a task force to address the immediate needs of animal control while formalizing long-term governance structures. Clear expectations, regular check-ins, and defined consequences and outcomes need to be made crystal clear. I've been inside the shelter in Silsbee, and I know that there's bullet markings on the walls of the kennels. And I don't know what the circumstances are, when they occurred, or why they occurred.
I just know that speaking for myself and my own core values, that I feel that we must act as civil, compassionate human beings and lead by example. And normalizing animal cruelty is a mistake. People become desensitized to it, so dumping animals becomes just a normal part of what people do, and they just laugh it off in a lot of circumstances. Not spaying, neutering, allowing animals to run at large, it just becomes normal. And every animal deserves a peaceful, dignified end of life, not a violent one. Only professional euthanasia provides a truly pain-free passing, and we have a responsibility as human beings to act like human beings. And what was recently shared with me is that there is another allegation against the previous ACO who would take the dogs to the dump on a Friday afternoon so that he didn't have to come to the shelter on the weekends and tend to them. And I am happy to share that information with the City Council and law enforcement, as I do have the names, and I just don't want to say it out loud here in public, but this is somebody that knew about it, and if people knew about it, they need to answer to those allegations. We need to examine the reasons why these animals are dumped and focus on root causes, and primary factors should be looked at to start addressing the actual problems of why people are dumping these animals, why they feel abandonment is their only option. Is it socioeconomic, behavioral? Do they need help with spay or neutering? We need to identify these problems as a first step. So let's support mechanisms and implement some preventive measures. I also believe law enforcement plays a very key role in deterring the abandonment and mistreatment of animals. Henderson County Sheriff and the Trinity Sheriff's Department are two examples of law enforcement taking serious action against such cruelty, and they both regularly post on their social media, including mug shots and the stories of those being arrested. This is well received by the public, and it builds bridges and supports gaining trust at the general population as well. People need to be aware that dumping animals, condemning them to a slow and torturous death from starvation, risk of being shot, hit by a car, etc., are extremely cruel, and it needs to stop. If they can't look after their animal, they shouldn't be entertaining the idea of getting one. And they are a commitment and a responsibility, and therefore just dumping them warrants a punishment. And my final comment is something that I wanted to bring up that I've heard multiple times about people saying they didn't want to come forward out of fear from good old boys. And on Paul Mueller's page, the same term is used to quote, "There is a long-standing lack of accountability and transparency going back to a deep-rooted good old boys system." Now, I don't know who these good old boys are, or who these people are referring to, but in today's day and age, when a citizen feels unsafe to express concern because they perceive there's going to be retribution, that is very wrong. And a much broader range of perspectives and professionalism needs to be taking place. There is no place for good old boys way of thinking. This is 2026 and not Hazard County. So, thank you. In closing, I just want to say that I truly hope Council takes a decisive action on these issues, because I would prefer to see this handled by the current leadership. And please don't take offense if these situations are not resolved. I'm prepared to run for a seat myself and ensure that the community gets the representation it needs. But in the meantime, I offer you my full support in helping implement an ad hoc committee, fundraising, volunteering, whatever you need, in a positive and constructive manner. I'm available. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any of you guys that want to come back and give your input on what you'd like to see in an animal shelter are welcome to come back when it's on an agenda item, which I'm sorry, but it takes like 4 working days of being posted before we can put something on the agenda. So if we call a special meeting like this isn't a regular meeting, we call it to take care of a specific item, we have to get it on the agenda before then, and that didn't happen this time, but you're welcome to come back, okay? Thank you. Now we're gonna get down to our regular business. Items to be considered. Discussion and possible action on approving resolution number 26-05, A resolution of the City of Silsbee, Texas authorizing the award of administrative service provider contract for the Community Development Block Grant Program, with funds being allocated through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Alright, so, after doing the grant, the ratings, we had two companies apply, GrantWorks and CSRS LLC. GrantWorks scored us 263, CSRS LLC scored 235. The recommendation is for GrantWorks with a total of 263. So I make a motion that we award GrantWorks the administrative service provider contract for community development block grant program. The funds being allocated through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay, we have a second. Is there any discussion on this?
I'm behind the curve on this scoring you talk about. Who did the scoring and when did that happen?
Well, I was gonna say that we started talking this morning. We had a selection committee this afternoon, me, Keena, and Kurt, and, we scored. And you only had two that submitted.
And what is this grant gonna cover?
It is for, disaster relief recovery, public infrastructure restoration and improvements, economic revitalization, and long-term community resilience. And this is us applying for the application for it, but we haven't got awarded it yet. But if you do, you have to have your engineer or grant consultant procured first.
And so,
That was the reason we had to have a special call meeting. If y'all remember, it was on there last time, and we only had one submit, and they made us do it again. And so we had to table it until we could do it again, and we had to have it procured, and the rating, and, the rating is usually done during the daytime, and I usually try to move to different board members and put at least one board member on it.
all I see is a blank resolution page and no other backup. I don't have enough information to understand what we're doing. Other than y'all saying we picked somebody, and I'm listening to what Kurt said, but I missed who he said he picked. And it's not in the packet.
Right.
Is it in your packet who he picked?
Well, the rating committee met today, and then we have to rate them on a sheet, and there has to be 3 people. It has to consist of 3 people.
I'm just gonna say, with this amount of information, I'm gonna abstain. I don't feel like we got enough information to understand what we're doing.
But that's why you have the rating committee.
Well, then show us the rating.
You have the rating sheets,
He read it,
but you have the sheets? Like, you guys have created sheets for this today.
How did they arrive at the scores, I guess is what he's asking.
There's a whole plethora of criteria to go through. You go through the,
I just don't see nothing.
You got the sheets?
Brooke's gonna go look for them, but she's probably not gonna be able to find them by herself. But this is how you've rated them for 20 years. How it's always been done.
Hang on there.
I ain't fighting y'all, I'm just telling y'all, I don't have enough information to make a call to blank form.
Hang on. Hang in there, guys. This is, I understand what you're saying.
I missed it, 'cause it was blank when we got it. What?
Just like you said, we should be knowing what's going on and have something more than just this to look at. We got nothing to look at.
I agree,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't vote it the same way you did, I just ain't seen nothing. Don't see, I don't remember the name.
GrantWorks and CRS, the guys are doing our annual,
In the meantime,
So which one was it that you
while we're
recommended?
doing, while we're finding that, can you tell us the good news about the,
It's not on
Right.
the agenda.
it's not on the agenda?
Nope.
Okay,
You wanna skip down to 3?
That's table 3.
Yeah.
okay. Okay, let's skip down to number 3.
No, that's
Okay.
table 3.
Table 3.
Yeah,
Table 3?
table 3.
Okay.
Okay, so somebody have a motion to table, or do we need a motion to table it?
Yeah, table 3.
Okay, here we go.
I don't think they.
Well, we might well table that.
Yeah, we might, I mean.
We might well table it so y'all can bring it back so we can have a discussion. on it.
Okay, well, the problem
It
with
needs
it
to be
is,
tonight.
it's on the last agenda.
So
And
what,
it had to be on this one, and we told y'all
We had to have a
that
meeting.
That's why we called the meeting tonight, because the deadline is today.
But it's always been done this way, and y'all never said anything, always. You have a committee that meets because they want it to be done fair. It has to consist of 3 people. And you rate them, you go through their books, you look at them, it's called a rating committee.
But when we gonna have a discussion over it?
And what do you mean by that?
To know what are the credentials of each one of these people and everything else?
But that's what your rating committee does. I mean, the law says you're supposed to, I'm supposed to select a 3-member rating company, a group, and the 3 people rate them and go over, and we go through the book and look at all their credentials and rate them. And then the committee brings, that's what the Procurement Act tells you to do. And then we bring it back to y'all for approval of whoever was selected, and it's always been done that way.
But you bring back approval just on the one that you said approved.
no.
Well, when you rate them, you know, one person's rating, the other person's rating, and the other person's rating based on a book. And when you get through, you tally the answers, and whoever's got the high scores, who you're gonna recommend that it gives to, based on how long their staff's been there, what kind of jobs they've done.
Well, just cause they rate the highest, don't mean they the one that might be okay for us until.
Well, no, y'all don't have to prove our recommendation, I don't guess. Whatever Kurt recommended, y'all don't have to prove that. I mean, you got a choice of 2, you only had 2 people submit, and you went out for bids twice, or for requests for qualifications twice.
So another question I have is how long have we been working on this? How long have we known about this grant?
Well, I mean, I told y'all about it a couple months ago, and then we started the procurement process, and then it was on the last agenda, and you didn't have but 1 person, and we told y'all that GLO made us go out for procurement again, and then there's a time frame you gotta go through before that committee meets and picks, selects a company based on their qualifications and brings a recommendation before you. And then by the 16th, we have to vote to pick one, and you only had 2. And both, you did what, administration? Or was it engineering?
Engineer, grant consultant rating, yeah, for administration and engineering.
And I don't have it from me, who were the 2?
For the recommended,
Uh-huh.
for grant works, for the administration, and Sean Berg and Polk for engineering.
No, I'm talking about for grant work.
Oh, so yeah, sorry,
Hey, you
grant
only
works
had
and
2. Grant
CSRS
works is the one that done
LLC.
your ARPA grant. We had no issues there, that went quite well. And then the CSRS
CSRS LLC.
is the one that you just recently hired to do the comprehensive study that stood before y'all that got that grant. So that's the only 2 people that submitted, and we did it twice. And the state makes you show who all you sent it to. Yeah, I think we sent it to like 13 different groups.
You guys wanna be on the committee next time?
I mean, I alternate it. I've used mayor, I've used other council members. I think Tina did the last one. Kurt Bass has been on it before.
If you have more than a couple, more than two of the council members on the committee, then you gotta put it on the agenda and actually call a regular meeting. That's why she only has one person on one council member on the committee.
Okay. The only thing I'll give you back to that is, I would just suggest that you're not gonna get near as much kickback from me if you're not up here asking for something on the last day. It can't be another day, it's gotta be today, you gotta make a decision today, but it's blank, and get the comments about, well, did you wanna be on the committee? Well, I wasn't asked to be on the committee because I didn't know about a committee, and I just don't like the approach. But seeing how there's only 2 people applied, and Kurt helped, and he feels like that the committee has done their due diligence, that we picked the best of 2. I'm not gonna fight y'all on moving forward. I'm fighting y'all on everything being the last minute.
Tina, were you on that committee too?
So I'm not fighting about being on the committee or what. I'm just saying, you throw this up here and we look up here and you know, it's 2 blank pages, says section.
But Bruce, there wasn't time to do any other way.
There was 2 months ago.
But we did bring it.
There was 2 months ago.
We had to do an extra procurement because we didn't have enough people.
It was on the last agenda, and we explained to the council that why we couldn't do it, and we asked the council to table it because GLO was making us go out again for the process.
Maybe
And
I'm
we
on one.
explained it, we had to table it, and we had to call a
Let me
special
ask you.
call meeting.
When was the first time y'all received anything concerning this? Was it 2 months ago, 4 months ago, or 6?
December of 2020.
When we got it, we immediately brought it to y'all's attention about the grant. And then when we got ready to do the procurement, we got y'all's approval for that. When the quotes come in, we only had 1, and they told us we had to redo it. And we had a line item on the agenda for y'all to vote on it again, but GLO said no. We told y'all that they said we could not do it because we didn't have but 1, that we was gonna have to have a special call meeting before the next meeting for the selection committee meet to get it done. And so, that's what we did. And so, this is the next.
When did we get it?
When did you get what?
The paperwork. When the first time you look at the paperwork that we discussed? Did you get it December,
You're talking
January?
about an agenda, or the fact that a grant was out there for you to apply for?
I'm trying to find out, you said we had 2 months ago. When did we know about it?
I mean, I have to pull the last meeting, but it was discussed and brought before y'all in the meeting, and y'all knew that we had to
It
do
might have been
this.
discussed last week, that's not what I'm asking.
What?
My question is, when did we first know about it?
Okay, Brooke said it was on the February agenda.
When did we first know about it?
When I told y'all under city manager's report prior months to that there was a grant out there that I was looking into and what the grants were that were coming up.
Okay, so it came to your knowledge in January.
Yes, and I told the council about it, and that I was gonna apply for it. And then in February, we did, and it was there for us to vote to do it, and we had already went through a procurement. But 1 person submitted, they made us do it again, and I brought it to y'all's attention and told us they made us redo it. But there's a deadline on this grant. And y'all needed to vote on it on the 16th. You have to have that, selection committee had to meet and have the grant consultant and the engineer procured for the job. But you are right, you do not have to give it to these people if you don't want to. Y'all can pick the other company if you want the other company, but they're the only 2 that submitted, and you don't have time to go through procurement again.
Well, I mean, I'm like Bruce, I mean, I just want us to start bringing stuff ahead of time so we can be on top of it, know what's going on, and just the same
Well, but we
thing.
thought we
That's
did.
why I'm
We
asking
didn't
you.
know that
That's why I'm
2
asking, when did
people
y'all
was-
receive it?
1 was gonna submit. It was like a 3 months window to get everything done on this grant that they gave you. It's one of those fast grants.
Okay.
And we started the process in January, that had to be completed in March. But it's just when we got to the February to pick the company, only 1 submitted. And they made us, we called them, and they told us we had to re-procure. A procurement requires certain days in between putting in the paper and stuff, so we had to go through the dates.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, and we have a second. And we've had discussion, is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving this motion, do you wanna repeat it?
Yeah, sure. The recommendation is the motion is to award Grant Works the award administrative service provider contract for the Community Development Block Grant Program with funds being allocated to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Okay? All those in favor of that motion, say aye. Okay. Was that ayes? Is there all those opposed? Is there any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. All right, item 2, discussion and possible action on approving resolution number 26-06, a resolution of the City of Silsbee, Texas, authorizing the award of engineering service provider contract for the Community Development Block Grant with funds being allocated through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
This is the engineering rating. There's 4 companies that applied: Schonberg and Polk, Fitz and Shipman Inc., Lead, and LJA Engineering. The recommendation is Schonberg and Polk with 252 points. I make the motion that we award Schonberg and Polk the engineering service provider contract for Community Development Program grant, block grant, with funds being allocated to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. 252.
252.
What's the cost associated with this, doing the grant? Because I know the engineering is charging us a lot.
Ma'am?
What's the cost for the engineering part? I know it comes out of grant, but,
And I don't know the answer to that, because you haven't got the grant,
yeah,
okay? So you don't know till you get the grant, how much of it is engineering, but there's a standard percent that they can charge, and the same thing for grant administrators. They are only allowed to get a certain percent, like 10%, 6%, and it's stated in the contract if you get awarded the grant.
So each one of these engineering firms that applied agreed to accept the grant provided percentage.
Yes, I think sometimes their amounts are different, but they can't go over a certain amount. I think it's like 10%, 6%, I have to
So then
look in the
the follow-up question
contract.
is, was the amount they wanted to charge part of the scoring system?
Remember, you can't negotiate with
No.
engineering firms on
No.
the price.
But you can grade them by price.
No, you can't.
No, that's not on the criteria.
Yeah, this
You
is
can't grade
just,
engineering
I'm gonna check the
quality
water
of
on that one,
work.
boss.
Yeah, and engineering firms, you can't grade by price.
I'm gonna check you on that one.
Please do.
Because we can't just blindly spend the city's money with no recourse do they charge what they
So
want.
wait,
That's what we've been doing all these years.
With engineering firms, it works differently though. Professional services firms,
I understand that, but they still have a negotiated price.
you negotiate the contract based on their qualifications, and then you negotiate the price. And if you can't negotiate a price after the qualifications, then you restart negotiations with another firm. But it's a messed up system, but that's the way it is.
So
But,
you,
but if that's the case, when will you bring that back to us, if that happens? Because if you look at some of the contracts that we was already doing, some of the engineering prices was ridiculous. I mean, and we never questioned it one time about trying to go back and reopen
Well,
that
but
bid.
the state and the feds do, they only let them have a certain portion.
I understand that, but if, say for instance, one of them might come back and say, hey, we'll do it at 6%. But by the time you get through, they got all the change orders in there, they got all the other costs in there, now we're up to 10% plus.
Engineering's not gonna, I mean, the percentage of the engineering is always gonna be the same percentage.
See, these are more questions like, how many types of projects like this have they ever done? Will you go through their book on projects they said they've done?
Have y'all really looked over some of those paperwork that I have? And if you look at some of the prices that was there, it was ridiculous what they was charging us. And I compared them to other places, and it was different.
Yeah, but, I mean, what does that have to do with this, Thomas?
It's got a lot to do with that, being that we might not be on top of our business like we need to be when it comes down to some of these engineers.
Well, we need to talk about that on a case-by-case basis.
You know, I can go a little bit further. These engineers sit there and tell us something, we do it, and do it. And then when we come back up, we got the same things hitting us back in the face again. And the same engineer was the one that gave us the paperwork the first time, that came back, we back in the same problem, we have the problem again.
Well, Thomas, that's honestly why, you know, some of the stuff that I graded, the ones we use all the time, lower. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's engineers that we use in there all the time that I didn't give a higher score on because of that simple fact right there.
I mean, I'll sit there and listen to the engineer one day tell me about a certain situation, and now it's back up at us again. The same project is backing us again. And what the information they gave us the first time did not solve the problem, and why are we trying to worry about looking at them again?
Which is why, if you look at that, one we always use in there didn't get higher scores than the newer one did.
I didn't get it on page, but I understand what you're saying.
Okay, you guys, we got the cart a little bit before the horse here, because we don't have a second on that motion, I don't believe.
I don't have a motion.
I made the motion.
Oh, okay.
I second it.
Okay. Bruce is gonna second it. Is there any other discussion on it? Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, if there's no opposed, did you abstain, Tina? You had aye?
Yeah.
Okay, then it's unanimous. Okay.
It's not,
No, it's city hall.
okay, we'll do three.
We'll do three?
Yeah.
Okay. Discussion and possible action on approving quote for fencing at the city barn. Public Works Director.
This is a budgetary item in this year's budget. Budgetary item is $65,000. You have 3 quotes. First one, F&M, $56,945.60. That is putting a new one up and taking down the old fence. Second one is Drake Tree and Fence Services. This was $50,500 plus add another $10,000 to remove the old fence, made it $60,500. Allied Fencing Associates of Silsbee was $67,571.69, but theirs does not include taking it down, so I recommend FNNT Allerton.
Okay.
$56,945.50.
This is at the barn, it's at the one, at the corner of, Durden and Woodrow.
Yes, and the TEQ has rolled us up for the last inspection
Okay.
for the fence. So
Is it all the way around it, or
it's
is
all the
it?
way around, plus the new property that we have purchased around it too, so.
That was gonna be
Well,
my
that's gonna
question
be
there.
added and included in it.
What did purchase?
What is the first one you talking about, for 50,000, what are we doing?
Yeah, $56,945.60.
Yeah, they gonna remove the old fence?
They gonna remove the old fence.
How tall a fence is it?
Sir?
How tall?
It's 6 foot plus 3 strands of barbed wire on top.
How much different was it in price if we went 8?
Sir?
How much different the price was it if we would've went 8 foot?
One with Drake, you're looking at almost about $4,500 more than one with Drake.
No, I'm saying, you said a 6 foot fence.
Yeah.
If it had been 8, did y'all ever get a price
No,
of 8?
we just did what we got, just that, because we have the 3 strands of barbed wire, so it makes it close to 8 foot with the 3 bands of barbed wire.
Did I understood you said you're recommending FNT?
Yes.
And they've done work for us before, correct?
Okay, do we have a motion?
I make a motion that we accept, the bid for, what is it, FNT? FNT Construction Service for, $50,000. $56,945.50.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on it? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Okay. This is the one you guys all wanted to get to, right here, item 4. Presentation of certificate of unopposed candidates for upcoming May 2026 election. City manager.
Pass this to the mayor, please. The election code says I'm required to give you that.
Okay. Certification of unopposed candidates for City of Silsbee general election. And I don't read Spanish too good.
Well, it's a copycat of the English, so you just have to read the English part.
Okay. 2, presiding officer of governing body. As the authority responsible for having the official ballot prepared, I hereby certify that the following candidates are unopposed for election to office for the election scheduled to be held on May 2, 2026. List offices and names of candidates. Council Member District A, Bruce K. Council Member District B, William Bast. Council Member at Large, Place 1, Tina Young Holman. And it's signed Deanne Zimmerman. City Secretary, March 12, 2026. Okay, item 5. We don't,
And I need that back, please.
okay, there's no action on
No,
that.
sir, it just says I have to present it to you for you to be able to act on number 5.
Okay. Somebody must have thought you guys were doing a mighty good job. All right. Item 5, discussion and possible action on approving ordinance number 26-04, an ordinance of the City of Silsbee, Texas, canceling the May 2, 2026 city election and declaring each unopposed candidate elected to the office. City manager.
And same thing, election code requires me to present, the city secretary to present you with a certificate of election, that there wasn't any, they had no opposition. And then the election code requires you to do the ordinance, and I'll send it to the city attorney for his approval and preparation.
Do we have to vote on that?
Yeah, it's an ordinance, so you have to vote on it unanimously to pass it in one reading, otherwise you'll have to come back next time and do it again.
Okay.
I make the motion that we approve that, the ordinance of the City of Silsbee, Texas, canceling the May 2nd, 2026 city election, declaring each unopposed candidate elected to the office.
Unanimously,
Unanimous.
and waiving the second.
We have a second.
And waive the second reading.
Yeah, I second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, guys, you get 2 more years. Okay? All right. Now then,
I want to leave this session.
okay, we have a request for an executive session. Do we have to have 2 people in favor of that, or?
No, we have, pending or contemplating litigation, so we have B and C, we can read B and C.
Okay, we're going into executive session for, pursuant to Texas Code, Government Code 55.1.0 1A to consult with city attorney on pending or contemplated litigation. And did you say C?
Yes.
Pursuant to Texas Code Section 551.0712 to consult with city attorney on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter.
It's
Okay.
706.
Okay? We'll be back. When you have an executive session, you can't take any action in the executive session. So if they decide they want to have any action, they'll have to come back into the meetings, restart it, and then have any votes in public.